After I left university, I was a scientist, but I decided to abandon my science, although I did research in genetics for a while. And I went to work for Shelter, and that led me into all sorts of campaigns and different jobs, all in the voluntary sector. But again, the turning point in my life was an accident of history and geography. I went to live near the Greenham Common base in Berkshire, and the Americans decided to site cruise missiles. I then got involved in the anti-cruise missile campaign, and then became the chairperson of CND. So that put me into a national arena where I obviously had to be very political. And then I stood as the parliamentary candidate for the Newbury constituency, literally because absolutely nobody else was prepared to do it. But having done it, I then wanted to do it again. And that was strange because I had previously decided, although some friends had tried to persuade me I should stand for Parliament, I'd always said I wouldn't do it because I thought it was just a filthy game. I didn't like, party politics at a professional level. Didn't think it was for me, but I did think that all the problems I dealt with at the CAB, which repeated themselves again and again, were things that would be better addressed if one tried to solve those problems by legislation, by being in public life, in Parliament. And so eventually all these things came together, and I got lots of requests to stand because people knew of me, because of my chairing of CND. At the end of my stint as the chair of CND, I decided I wanted to get back to party politics. I then contested my home seat, which was my home location rather, which was Pontypool in South Wales, and I was the runner-up. And then I thought, that's it, they don't want me, I'm not going to do this. And then I got a note from Harriet Harman, who I didn't know, except by reputation, who said, Deptford is wide open, Joan, go for it. And at that time I'd moved out of London, I didn't know Deptford, I didn't know South East London at all. But I thought, well, if somebody like Harriet is saying, you should go for it, then you ought to go for it. And after 8 months of a very bitter contest, a near suspension of the constituency by the National Executive Party, I was finally selected as the candidate for Lewisham Deptford in 1987. I would have contested the selection in Pontypool in sort of 85, 86, and then the contest for Lewisham Deptford ran, as I said, for about 8 months in 1986. The election then was in 1987. Well, the sitting MP for Lewisham Deptford, when the contest began, was someone called John Silkin, who was a member of been a member of the cabinet under Labour governments. He was an old-style patrician MP. He had a grand house in Kent and a flat in the area of the Division Bell in Westminster. And he had acquired a party that had become pretty much dominated by the hard left and a number of entryists. And they decided to get rid of him. And to be honest, I think they were partly responsible for the fact he died prematurely because he had 2 years of turmoil with the party. He eventually said, okay, that's it, I'm not putting up with this. And so he accepted a place in the Lords, which he never got to because he died. But they were looking for somebody much more radical than John. And of course, some more reasonable people in the CLP thought, yes, that's right, but, we want a reasonable person, somebody who's, going to be a good MP. So they coalesced around me, and the other people made the mistake in the end of splitting their own vote with 2 candidates, both of whom I think would have had great difficulties managing being an MP, as it happens. But anyway, I came through and got the seat.